had this, plan. I want to do some, let's say, deads or squats or something like that. And they come in here, they're pretty stressed out, they're pretty tired. There's no way I'm going to make that guy do that kind of workout because it's going to dig him into a hole again. So instead, what I'm going to do is make them do like a stretch session or maybe a circuit session, which basically just flushes them out. Everybody who's left here always feels like, you know what, I feel that was a good workout. That's what I needed. And that's basically what you have to look at. You're not going to lose anything. It's just basically your body based on that day is how it's working.
I specifically remember I gave you a visit one time, and I knew I was overtrained because I was feeling very fatigued and my energy was just not at a normal level. And after you did some body work on me, it's like I felt like I was reborn. I think you specifically remember that. Like you mentioned, the pep in your step. Like I felt maybe 20, 30 pounds lighter on my feet.
Yeah, that's it.
I noticed, like, literally after that session, since then, my sleep has been amazing. And it's a little bit more consistent as well. So it's also interesting how when you're actually overtrained, your body can actually lock up in certain ways too.
Yeah.
For me, for example, was like I had very tight hamstrings and you had to release that. Kind of talking about that, how can we talk about how basically overtraining can affect your posture, like in terms of like your actual lifestyle?
So one of the things I do when I assess people is I look at their posture when they first come in. Obviously, I'm looking how they're walking and stuff like that. What they're saying, obviously, is the other thing too. But their posture is a dead giveaway of how they. And a lot of times, there's a formal, we call it formal measurement, and there's informal. Informal is just sometimes you stand and you just talk to them, or they're sitting and you watch how they're sitting. How they're sitting will give you indication of where they might have some what we call fascial restrictions. We'll definitely dwell into that a little bit later on, and about fascial restrictions and how it affects the body in terms of contortions and stuff like that. But getting back to this idea of injuries, posture and overtraining. So there are a couple of muscles that will definitely shut down, I would say, and I put that in quotes. Basically, they'll decrease their firing output, and most of them are innervated, have the same innervation Let me rephrase that. They have the same nerve innervation that innervates your adrenals. So they share the same nerve pathway. And these muscles are your shin muscles on either side, like your muscles at what we call your perineals, your tibialis anterior, tibialis posterior, your sartorius muscle, the gluteus medius, right? So in psoas muscle, amongst others. These are in pec minor, biceps, where it crosses over to the elbow. That tendon there will be very tender sometimes. Right up the subclavius muscle, which is right underneath your collarbone, closest to your breastbone.
Mm-hmm.
So these muscles there typically will, when the adrenals get tired and you're starting to get fatigued, they will start to shut down. Mm-hmm. Now, what's the consequence of that overall? Well, if these muscles start not working properly, or they decrease the nervous firing, what's going to happen? You're going to see a slump in the posture, or sometimes you'll see people with their posture, they're kind of leaning forward. It's almost like they're ready to go, like flight or fright. They haven't turned off the system yet. When you stand up, 2/3 of your weight should be on your heels. Mm-hmm. Right? 1/3 should be on the forefoot. As you walk, you transfer the load. Right? Mm-hmm. But if you're tired, what happens is that weight, your weight, you can't go back on your heels, so your weight goes always on your forefoot. Once it goes on your forefoot, your back starts to lock up, and then it creates. And depending how long it's been there, it's going to get into what we call a restriction. So your body will start getting into a motor pattern that says, "Okay, this is how you want me to sit." So there's definitely indications that certain postural abnormalities, like a hip height, a hip that's very high, rather, or shoulder that's high or low, depending on the magnitude of that, or any torques in the body, will give you indication that definitely certain muscles are tight, and the person is not necessarily overtraining. Maybe they could be, or they more likely could be overreaching.